Okay, we're going to start a new series here. What you see in front of you there is the Blue Holzfforma G372xp. It's a obviously direct copy of the Husqvarna 372xp original edition, and I bought this used, picked it up on Marketplace for a very fair price, and for me it's more or less going to be a toy. This one is a 2021, according to the sticker, made of manufacturer. I don't have a lot of background on it. The person I bought it from said that he just used it to cut wood to heat his shop, and I didn't get much more information than that. When I brought it home, I fired it up just to make sure it ran. It does, and it does not run very well, but it does run. So it oils like a banshee. It idles perfectly. It's got some throttle response. It's a little bit laggy. And no matter what I do, I cannot tune the 4-stroke out of the high end. Even with the high jet all the way in, it still 4-strokes like crazy. So it's a known issue with these. I intend to address that and a few other things as we go along. So what you see here is the previous owner had some issues with the pull start, so he replaced it once, and then this one went bad on him again. He pulled the rope right out of the starter, and at that point he got fed up, said no more, I'm going to buy an OEM saw, and I don't want to screw with it anymore, which I understand, and that was the end of that. So that's why it has an orange starter cover on it. Looks a little ugly, but it'll work. It'll work. So all I've done to it so far is I repaired the pull cord and got it running just to see how it ran. Wasn't expecting much out of it. I intended to go into it pretty fully, go through it, do your basic maintenance as well as some other things we'll get into here shortly, and just wanted to get it started, see if it ran, worked, what it needed, and we're going to go from there on it. So that being said, it does run. It idles very well. It feels like it has fairly low compression. I don't know if that's the way they always are or if there's an issue. We're going to check that out here shortly. And I can't tune the high end. The RPMs are pretty low, and at 4-strokes pretty hard. So I'm assuming number one, which I intended to do anyway, was to replace the carburetor for a better quality one. We'll do that. I'll obviously do fuel lines and filters, impulse line. Going to take a look at the cylinder and piston and see what kind of shape they're in. I have a plan for that, but it could go a couple different ways, so let's see after we get into it what it looks like. We're going to check squish on it, see where it's at. It's probably a mile. We will then, hopefully in this video, we'll do timing numbers. I have my degree wheel and all that, so I can try and set that up, and let's see where it sits. But that's a quick introduction. It's not a pretty saw, but I don't care. It'll work. It'll do what I need to do, and let's see where it goes. So first thing I'll do is I'll tear it down. I'll just open it all up so we can access everything, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I've got it torn down, just the outer plastic and the exhaust. So starting with the exhaust, one thing I noticed right away is there were 2 exhaust gaskets in there, and they were sandwiched in between each other like that. They were sandwiching the metal deflector. That's not normal. Number 2, our typical Farmer Tech exhaust. I don't know why it looks like it's been brazed. I don't quite know why that is. If that's something that the previous owner had done, or if that is from Farmer Tech. I don't know. but looking inside, I'll take a quick look. I mean, it looks like a brand new exhaust. I'm not kidding. I don't know how much time is on this. This might be a new one. I don't think you guys can really see in there very well. But there's hardly any carbon, any oil. There's almost nothing in there. So I don't know if this was replaced at one time or what. I can see some brazing around the outer edges too of the crimping. That might be Farmer Tech, I don't know. But anyway, that's the exhaust. Looks good, still going to use that. Standard air filter for Farmer Tech, nothing special. Looks used, but serviceable, so that's fine. The inside looks very good. I don't see any fines in there. Something else interesting, spark plug. This has an actual NGK, and it's the BPMR 7A. That's the correct plug. So I don't know, that must have been replaced. I'm sure it didn't come with that. But if we look at the plug itself, you can see it's running rich. It's not terrible rich, and there's almost no carbon on it. Again, I don't know when this was last replaced, but it's wet. It is wet. So that goes back to our problem. We weren't able to tune the high. No big deal. We'll get that fixed. Alright, let's check squish. I will start with my 40 thousandths solder. Let's see. Start with this. I don't expect this to touch. So it's 38 thousandths right now. Let's see what we got here. Let's go up against the cylinder wall here. No. Absolutely no touching. No change. Okay. It's kind of what I expected. Let's go with our bigger, chunkier solder here. I pre-mashed this so it wouldn't be so thick. Oh, there we go. Let's see what we got. And my battery died in my calipers. Isn't that nice? I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. So, with a fresh battery, let's see what we've got. First, it is zeroed. Okay. So about 53 thousandths, we'll call it, 53 and a half. So with that being the case, there's, even with the removing the base gasket, we will still be a lot more than 20,000 squish, which would be optimal. So we'll keep that in mind. But that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of the engine. Let's take a look at the piston and cylinder, and let's see exactly what we have going on in there, because looks like it's a factory, the OEM, the Holzfforma cylinder and piston, and the compression seems low, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything wrong with the piston and cylinder. It's entirely possible that what we have going on is just an engine with low compression because the squish is so high. So we'll take a quick look and peek in there and we'll see. The best way to do that, I'll use my little scope here and we'll see exactly how that works out. Hopefully we can make it work pretty easily for you. Okay. Let's take a look at this. There's the piston. I hope you guys can see that. It's got all the machining marks still on the piston. Actually looks pretty good. And there is the intake side of the cylinder. You can see a spark plug hole up there. So piston looks good. It really does. Alright, let's see if we can't get in there a little deeper and look around. There's the top of the transfer ports on the flywheels, no, on the clutch side. And boy, that looks like there's some strange horizontal grooves in there. There is the transfer port on the flywheel side. What is this? That looks funky. Right there. Huh. Alright, well let's go in a little deeper. I'll go into the spark plug hole, we'll check the exhaust side. Alright, let's check inside the cylinder from the spark plug hole. This should be looking at the exhaust side. Yep, there's the arrow. There we are at bottom dead center. See what looks like some horizontal scratching. Is it possible this cylinder was maybe taken off before and somebody put a ball hone in it? Let's see. What is that? Is that damage? Is that missing plating? What the heck is that? Very strange. Let's go to the other side. The transfers. That side looks, let's see if I can get in there to it. There we go. That side looks a lot better. What in the world is this? This is the clutch side. Is that damage? It might be damaged. Okay, anyway, generally speaking, the cylinder looks usable, other than maybe that. I'll have to look at that and see what the heck that is. I can't really get in close enough to have a good look at it without getting blurry. That don't look great. Okay, anyway, we'll carry on. Okay, let's get some port timing numbers. I've got my timing wheel all zeroed, so you hopefully can see it. I'm going to try to get to the other side here. Sorry, I might be in the way. Try to stay away from the timing wheel. About like that. Let's see. I'm going to have to just sneak into your light here. Right about there. So that is right about 99 before top dead center. Yeah, 99. Right there. 99 before top dead center. That seems pretty high. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Let me just double check my timing wheel here. I'll do that real quick. Let's do 37. Oh, and 36. Let's move that just a little bit. 36 and a half. 36 at 37. About like that. 36 and a half. 36 and a half. Okay. So we are zeroed. Let's do that one more time, just to be sure. Okay. Right about there. Oh, there. What is that? 98. So 98 degrees before top dead center. That's the exhaust. Okay. Take a look at the intake here. So this is after top dead center. Let's see, right about there. After top dead center. So 86, 85 and a half. No, 70, goofball. 74 and a half. So 74 and a half. And how about the other way? Right about, roughly there. 73 and a half. So we'll call it 74 degrees. $74, okay? And now the transfers. Let's see if I can get in there to see them. It's going to be a little bit tough. I might be able to get it from the exhaust side. I'm going to be able to or not. Let's try a different way. Okay, so I'm going to use my camera to see if I can find out when the upper transfer is open. Sorry, I'm using it off screen, but you can look at the timing wheel, and I'll tell you when they close, or when they start to open, I should say. Right about there. Right about there. So, what does that give us? Let's see. That gives us, let's see, 180 minus 100. Let's see, let me double check that again. Oh, I see. Okay, hang on just a second. So let's check this and see. For the upper transfers, using my video camera off camera here, my borescope, we're at right about there. There. That looks to me like where they open. So that's, let's see, 90, 100, 110, 120, 122. 122 degrees after top dead center. 122. Okay, so the next question is, what are we going to do? Well, let's talk about it. Okay, so with all that information, what does that mean going forward? Well, the numbers as received, 53,000 squish, about 74 degrees on the intake, 98 on the exhaust, 122 on the transfers. So I'd like to get this exhaust down a little bit. I'd like to have a little bit more torque. Definitely got to get the squish down. That's too much. That's way too much. And get a little bit more intake timing. Now all of that can be accomplished by removing the base gasket, but I'll still have quite a bit of squish. I would estimate roughly 35 thousandths. Just guessing that the base gasket is roughly good for about 20 thousandths. Usually is. So, although 30 thousandths isn't so bad, 35, I mean, we're kind of splitting hairs, but we might as well try to make it right. So, we could lower the base gasket. Piston looks great, looks brand new. The cylinder has some strange horizontal scratches. I don't know what's causing that. I don't know if that's just from factory or if somebody has been in here before. And I saw a really strange mark on the clutch side upper transfers between the two transfers, the two outlets. There looked like there was some plating missing or some damage to the cylinder. So what I think I'm going to do I have another piston and cylinder set for this. It's aftermarket, but I want to try it. I'll show that in the next episode. We will maybe use the new piston and cylinder. We definitely have to get a different carburetor. We know this one does not tune. And this is the HL10 or HL low or IO, I don't know what. But it does not tune on the high end at all. It will not do it. No problem, I expected that. We'll do a new fuel line and filter, new impulse line. I'm probably going to replace the bar adjustment setup here. These are known to be pretty rough. This one is really rough. I know it's dirty, but it's it's very notchy and rough. So I'm going to probably end up replacing that. No big deal. I'm going to keep the exhaust the way it is. That's fine. And I may end up doing an OEM ignition coil on this. The stock one, although it's working, doesn't seem to be a problem. They are not known to be the best in the world. So I'll probably take a look at that. First I'm going to make sure it's not stock and not OEM. Does not look like it. No. So I'll probably do that. And I may advance the flywheel timing as well. So I'll think about what I want to use for piston and cylinder. Pretty sure I know what I want to use, and I think we're just going to replace it. But I'll know more once I take this one off, take a look inside, and see if there is actually some damage to the cylinder wall between the two upper transfers on the clutch side. So, but anyway, that's it for this video. Just an introduction to the Blue G372, and we'll see where it goes from there. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Okay guys, one last thing I wanted to do before I tore this down was do a compression check on it. So, I just got my compression tester in. I had to buy another one. I couldn't find the other one anywhere. So I'm going to do a compression test with the decomp still in, but of course pulled out, and then again with the decomp plugged and see what the difference is. So let's see. Kind of what I was afraid of. Hopefully you guys can see that. Right at 120 psi, at least on my gauge. So that's low. That's low. But the piston and cylinder looked pretty good, didn't they? Alright, let me plug that decomp and see what happens next. Okay. With the decomp plugged, we got pretty much no change. About 120. I am not sure that this saw is even broken in.